Tennessee Death Row Dogs, your local dog rescue nonprofit. Talkopolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Hi guys, Kane Harrison here, bringing you a very special series on Mommy Makeovers, proudly brought to you by the Plastic Surgery Centre of Nashville. And we are joined by two incredible cosmetic plastic surgeons, Dr. Haws and Dr. Gingrass. Welcome.
Thank you
very
much.
Now, I know
very happy to be here.
Well, we are happy to have you. I know this is kind of a hot topic at the moment, Mommy Makeovers. Let's kind of just talk briefly about that and then we'll get a little bit more involved.
Okay.
Mommy Makeovers, who's the demographic?
Mommy Makeovers, it's anybody who's had a baby, really. And it's typically, once you feel that you're done having your babies, then it's time to spend a little more time on you and get your body back.
Now, we spoke briefly off camera about this, and I guess there's kind of a perception in the community of where that age demographic might be, but it really is quite wide and varied. So just talk a little bit more about that.
All right.
I mean, women are having babies, obviously starting very young, and then up into their 40s. So women are now coming to us, assuming they've finished their childbearing, oftentimes in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, or even their 50s. And now they finally have a little bit of time to invest in themselves, and hopefully in many cases they've kind of tried to max out on diet and exercise, and they're kind of at a frustrated point that they're seeking some surgical options.
Sure. And I'm certain that, as you say, a 16-year-old perhaps comes for the different reason than perhaps a 50-year-old. Let's talk about that. I imagine there's a bunch of different procedures that they may or may not undergo. Can we just touch on that as you move through the age demographics?
We talk about that it's not that any of us, because both Dr. Gingrass and myself have had children, it's not that you would give back your baby, but I would have taken a whole lot more pictures of myself in a bathing suit had I known how much things were going to change.
Sure.
So that age demographic also has to do with not only, it's once you have time to take care of yourself. So a 16-year-old who has a baby early, but now wants to go to college and doesn't want to have the extra stretch marks and extra skin, may come in for a tummy tuck sooner. Whereas you also could see a 50-year-old who's finally got her kids out to college, but she's planning on living another 50 years. Now she has time to take care of whatever is bothering her and whatever changed.
Sure. And I imagine, society definitely has a way that we unfortunately treat perhaps mothers and their bodies and how they change with celebrities and all those sorts of different things. But you guys really concentrate on making the client feel a lot better about themselves specific. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I mean, plastic surgery is a fabulous field, and every day we thank our lucky stars for how great a field it is and how much joy it brings to help somebody feel better about themselves. Because if you get up in the morning and you feel good about what you see when you look in the mirror, or when you zip those jeans, or you put that bra on, it's definitely going to be portrayed in the way you carry out the rest of your day. And it can be just very, very rewarding to see how somebody will blossom when they just get that little thing tweaked.
And I imagine even the family dynamic, the relationship between a husband and wife perhaps changes a little bit during that time. Not only is there a new screaming baby in the house and late nights, but then, as you say, the bodies change and that sort of thing. Obviously, once you've done some of your fantastic work, tell me about some of those success stories where you see that.
Well, and it's amazing because I know after I had my daughter, I spent a whole lot more time at the pool than I had the previous 15 years of my life. So just the interaction with your child, if you're at the pool and you're trying to tuck your breast back up in the bathing suit because it's hanging out because you've lost volume, you've got too much skin, it's a whole different dynamic than we do a breast lift or we do an augment, and we help you so that you feel better, even taking the kids to the pool. you feel better about yourself.
Absolutely. Now, you briefly talked on one of the procedures there. Let's, we will, as we say, this is a series, and we're very much looking forward to hearing more and more about this topic. But let's just briefly go over some of the types of procedures that a mummy makeover might entail.
I just want to add one thing to your comment about the family dynamic.
Certainly.
Especially with relation to mommy makeover. I always tell, sometimes the husbands come in and they're a little worried about this plastic surgery situation, and I always tell them, you know, you got to know, if mama's happy, everybody's happy. So, and that, like, the whole household's going to benefit from a happy mama.
That's right. I grew up with my dad saying a happy wife is a happy life. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So just back to the question, just
the
to go
procedures.
over, yeah, just a couple of the procedures if we can go over, just to give the guys at home some information.
Well, if you just start from the top and work your way down, the first thing that women typically oftentimes come in about is their breast change. Whether you breastfeed or not, breasts change a lot just with pregnancy. They can get tremendously enlarged, and then when they deflate, sometimes they go back to where they were before, but oftentimes there's less volume than there was, there's more volume than there was, there's more skin. Breasts may need to be augmented or have an implant put in to make them bigger again, or they could need to be lifted or tightened back up, the skin tightened, or they could need both.
Sure.
Tummy tuck is also a very common part of a mommy makeover. Not everybody needs a tummy tuck, absolutely not, but oftentimes the tummy takes a pretty big hit as far as the weight fluctuations that come, and they're fast weight fluctuations. You gain the weight pretty quickly, and oftentimes just in one area, and that skin gets really stretched out. And so a lot of times people will come in and they would like to have liposuction because that sounds easy and sounds less expensive and less risk and less downtime. Oftentimes though, if they have loose hanging skin, if there's a lot of stretch marks, if the abdominal wall or the muscles gotten stretched out as well, a tummy tuck is often the best procedure for that patient.
And you know, I as talking off camera again, obviously know a lot of people. I have 2 sisters, 8 nieces and nephews, so have experienced my sister's bodies changing. And I know that their husbands actually would rub, you know, cocoa butter or baby oil into their bellies in the great hope that nothing would change. But you know, it just does. You're absolutely right.
So much of it is just genetically, you know, it does matter how much weight you gain. It does matter how fast you gain weight, but it also is your genetics. Some people have skin that just stretches, and then snaps back without a stretch mark. And other people, bam, the first thing out of the bag, the skin, the underneath collagen breaks, and that's how you get a stretch mark. So the skin on the top is intact, but underneath you get this tearing of the collagen. And it's just not something you can control. The other thing is, the body changes in a 5-foot-tall woman versus a 6-foot-tall woman can be dramatically different.
Wow.
There just isn't as much room for that baby to grow and expand, so everything comes out.
Very
the smaller
interesting.
they are.
Yeah.
Well, as we said, this is a series and we are going to continue it, so thank you both so much for coming in. We will have Dr. Haws and Dr. Gingrass back again to continue talking a little bit more in depth about some of these procedures and, of course, where we can find these beautiful ladies. And we will see you again.